about the delay. My son was on the phone there, just won. I think they won. They're up by 4 with 3 seconds to go. I don't think even I can blow that game. And so I think they're going to get that W. Just watch on the phone. So moments like that, you don't want to turn down either. So I'm just so happy for our guys. You know, many of you, some of you may have coached, but when you go through funks in your season, it's incredibly hard to practice. Anyhow, practices are hard, and then when you go after you lose, it's even harder for everybody. And so just to have guys come in with a little bit more bounce in their step before we go to Wisconsin is that, you know, they go to class, they're proud of themselves, they really you know, just played as hard as they could play today. And I said I've seen some good guards come in here, and maybe it was just today, but those two guys, Webster and Watson, were as good a performance as I've seen come into this. So I think Valentine and Trice and Forbes did it last year to us, but you know, so a couple of those things you don't have answers for. The Tim Hardaway step back 3. I'm talking Tim Senior. That you can get. Watson was tremendous, and then you can see what development does. The Webster, his freshman and sophomore years, he was not a factor that much on that team. A little bit more of a factor last year, right? But now all of a sudden, I mean, he's going to get buckets on anybody. I can really see now. I watched the Indiana game, I watched the Maryland game, and I said, okay, they scored all these points on those 2 really good teams, and but Maryland and Indiana might have had tough games. No, they didn't. This team is good. And what's really ironic is they lost their perceived best player, leading scorer, went to Syracuse, and this team right now, and they lost Morrow today, doesn't care. They're just playing for Tim, and really, he's a good friend of mine, and people in Nebraska should be very proud of him.
Coach, we'll start off with Kevin.
Coach, Derek, down the stretch there, have you been waiting for a moment like that where you really just...
Well, he's had a couple this year. You know, if you go back to the SMU game and all these things, that consistency is what we're both trying to get, you know, for him. He's trying it every day, and that's what he's capable of. That's what he's capable of, and it was just, we needed him badly. You can see when we got in a little bit of foul trouble in the first half, how everything just stopped. And he needs to be aggressive. It's not often that you have a point guard that can really shoot like that. So I'm really proud of the way he shot and ran the offense. And then Zach as well with, you know, 7 assists, 2 turnovers, 2 bad turnovers, and I let him know about it, but 7 great assists, and took the ball to the basket, and 7 for 7 from the foul line. If you look at his stats, he's not a 90% guy from the foul line. So that took some real courage to go up there and just be perfect.
John, the last few minutes of the first half, now obviously fouls were an issue, but you seemed to coach through those last 3 minutes as if it were like an end of game situation. Was that just...
Yeah, I thought it was critical moments in that game.
How much of that's like
we had played, you know, we were shooting the heck out of it, we were playing well offensively, and all of a sudden it just stopped. And our timing was off and all these things, and that's where we said, okay, we're going to do this. We do not want to turn the ball over against the zone. And yet we do not want to get this extra foul on Derek or have him play Ole defense. So we did it. I've never done that before. I just felt that the urgency in that moment right there that we had to do that to try and get any stops. We might have got a couple, but we didn't get a whole lot. We didn't stop them very often today. And we outscored them. And if that's the way it's got to be for a while we shore that up, that's what we're going to have to do.
Was some of that based, though, on the possibility of what losing that lead at halftime would have done to this?
Yeah, I thought it would be, as well as we had done some things. I mean, we were looking at going in, you know, scoring 45 points or something at halftime, and being down is not good. And so I was just trying to shorten and make sure that we had slowed them down as well, but just make sure we try to get our best offensive guys against the 1-3-1 zone. We were a little spooked by it, and we needed some veterans in there against it. Because that's what happened with Maryland. They were getting beat by Maryland. They went 1-3-1 zone. Maryland got a little spooked and turned the game around. I didn't want that to happen.
Over here with Nolan.
And I think Duncan hit a huge 3 that made a difference. Yes?
John, the first half you guys kind of took away the 3-point line. They had a lot of points to paint and so forth. I mean, how do you guard against, I guess, overcompensating one way or the other?
Well, you know, 2 guys that are on our scout report that are shooting in the 20s, you know, made 3s for them. 2 guys. And so we were going to give them 3s, and he makes the 2. You can't stop what Watson's doing late in the game. when you're trying, you don't want to foul at that time. You're going to make him make a contested three. And you can't stop what he was doing at the end of the game. He did the same thing against us there, but he's already done that with 30 against somebody this year. He's an elite, and he's only a sophomore. He's an elite player, and that's the Nebraska people got to love him. But no, we went zone in the second half because we had no answers, and so we went zone. And then when Tim put his shooters in, right, and he switched screens on us after that, then they shot us out of the zone.
You guys defended the rim better in the second half, it looked like, with Mo.
I didn't see it. I didn't see it. We changed one coverage that we had not practiced a lot, and I think it worked, and we got to look into that again.
Straight back with the TV with Justin.
John, good afternoon.
Hey, Justin.
Wondering if you knew about the players' meeting yesterday in the hotel?
I was aware of that. And I encouraged it. And I also had called one earlier, just with me, earlier in the year, just to say, how can we help? Just reaching out to them. What can we do better to get your confidence up there? And they basically told me yesterday again when I had that. I wanted to talk to them for 5 minutes after film. They said, Coach, we already got it. We're going to meet in the hotel too, and you don't have to do anything. Just keep coaching us. That was the message. So, but they only said that after I was prodding a little bit, because we practiced and we practiced well, but I could see we didn't have that bounce that you're going to need. This team is like you have their success last year in making the tournament can get in the way of the next year sometimes, and how you practice and how you approach it. And if you get punched in the mouth, to get back up is a little harder when you have success. When you haven't any success, you can get back up better.
To have Derek and Zach kind of, see the results, I guess. That's what they talked about. Is it a little
I hope it will
cliche,
go
or-
a long way how hard we played today of just what it takes to do everything you can. Because every time we punch them, they punch back. We punch them, they punch back. There's a lot of teams that I've coached pretty soon they just give in and say, we ain't going to stop these guys. And all of a sudden we get sloppy. We executed really well down the stretch when we had to.
Right over here with Woj.
Hey, John, do you feel like your team, the loss to Illinois, hit them especially hard because you shot well and still lost the game? And then the white-collar comment from one of the Illinois players after, do you think that sort of led to that meeting and everything else?
It might have. I don't think they've heard, that's the first time they ever heard that type of thing, and it's motivation certainly for them. But it's something that, our edge, I've talked about it, that the edge is, you go that, but we do not have a bunch of white-collar kids. We have kids that are really, they're tough, they're hungry, they're trying to get better every day. It's not as natural to them. And they got to do that. And there's nothing wrong with being a white-collar kid as well. My dad wore a white shirt like this every day, and I'm okay. And I was one scrappy guy growing up, so.
Mark.
John, when Mo is that hot and he's got 23 points, 8 minutes to go, and then you're going to trust that someone else is going to take over. Was that kind of a conflict?
Well, here's what they did. They went small and they switched every ball screen so we couldn't pick and pop him, right? And so then we tried to get it inside a couple times when you saw they switched and we tried to get it in, but it wasn't anything that we're still playing off action. I want to get the ball to Mo, but it's when you have 5 guys out there that you all believe in, we were sort of playing off their action because they were changing things up quite a bit. But I knew that he was getting a lot of points from the pick and pop. We knew that was no longer going to work. So we ended up just, once they went small.
To see him embrace, though, the shots and take...
Oh, yeah. That's the
that's
thing.
a big step there, right?
What I keep, talking about all the time, am I ready to give him that Pittsnoggle, hey, go, right? Because his numbers are so good. Some guys, when you dial up a play, they aren't as good at it. When you just let them play out of freedom, right, they're much better. Mo, I dialed up every one of those threes in the second half. In the threes in the second half. And that was one of the few, we've done it a few times. We did it against Maryland the other day, and he responded to it, so it could set a whole new opening of the court for us.
Right in over here with Andrew.
Even before they started fouling intentionally at the end, you guys got to the free throw line a lot more. I know you've been talking, you want to do that. Well,
that's as much as we've got in the last 3 games combined, maybe. Right?
Yeah, well, I guess why do you think it happened?
Well, fouling at the end would probably be 10 of those. But no, we have just emphasized get 2 feet in the paint. We're still not great at it. We've still got some guys that on that first bump, they pick it up. Usually many refs will make you play through the first bump if it's not like egregious. But when we get that first bump and it's incidental contact, we'll pick it up. And we're trying to get guys to drive through that first bump. And they did it better a couple of times today, but we still got to get better at it. We like to shoot that jump shot. We like to pull it back and go instead of getting 2 feet in the paint. We're working on it.
Adam?
John, Zach was mentioning the Big Ten was as fast as it's been since he's been here. Pace of play, I guess, in college basketball in general has picked up. A lot of teams in the Big Ten averaging close to 80 or a couple buckets below. Was this game indicative of that? And I guess what have you noticed in the past few years as far as the pace of play is concerned?
What have you noticed about, what would you think when you talk about Purdue all the time? You think about Purdue, it's their great offense, right? And no, you think about Purdue, you think about defense. And Iowa put, what, 90 on them the other night? I know it was an overtime game. That just didn't used to happen. It didn't happen. And so that's what I'm seeing right now. And I feel really bad when I see these bad field goal percentage ones. But I also look and Kansas gives up 80 or 90, and Duke gives up 80 or 90. And it's part of this 32nd of this downhill play. You know, great coaches in the NBA, great players in the NBA. They're giving up 100. It is really difficult to defend really good players, and I think those two guys were really good, and then everybody plays off them. But it is a trend right now, and if this is what people wanted to see, that's what they're getting.
Does it change the way, I guess, that you coach then? I mean, knowing that you have to adjust to that, or do you feel like you can just stick to what you do?
We're basically going to adapt to whatever we see in the game, and that's why you see the 91 points today. My grandson, Johnny, today, when I saw him, I said, did we win? He said, yes, you won 91-58. He had those two numbers mixed up a little bit. I wish it was 58.
John, to kind of actually playing off of that a little bit, you mentioned going out and outgunning
Right.
scoring team. Could that be something that this group kind of embraces as a bit of an identity? Just go out and score.
Yeah, we can score points, as you can see, and that's an uglier way to win. Or it's not ugly. It's uglier to try and win these games 46-43, right? And we've had some of those games in the past. And you're trying to outscore people. Now, you still got to defend better, and we know it, and we just, what can we do? I don't think we're going to say, okay, the heck with it. We're Paul Westhead, and we are now going after it and just going to go, we don't care if you score, we're going to score fast. We're not doing that, right? We don't have that type of depth or that type of players right now to just go and do that. We got to see finding these little steps of trying to get better. And ever since we played, we had a 4-day break for the holiday. We've played 6 games now in these. We've got a 6th game at Wisconsin, right? Our kids are tired, and it's hard to change your philosophy when you're trying to just get rest.
Kind of backing off that, I think you got 91 points today, 1.3 points per possession. Is that the kind of performance it's going to take to win, and anything less means trouble?
I hope not. I hope, that we can, we felt in the Illinois game, we just didn't stop anybody the whole time, and it was similar to this. And on the road, I think you got to defend, especially on the road, better. You don't have the crowd cheering for you. You got to get into it. But they said, if you tell me, you devise something to stop Ty Webster when he's going downhill, when he's going here and he's on a big guy and the ball screening him. The NBA can't stop the great NBA players. And Ty right now, that performance, is that who he is? That he's hitting runaway threes and doing things like that? He's going to play in the NBA. And it's just tough to stop that. But I still don't think you can just say, okay, we can't stop it. We got to find ways. We did make one adjustment at the end. It did work.
We'll close with Brandon.
We talked about Mo having a career high 23 points today. And he was also made a couple plays there that defensively he might not have made the past couple days.
Yeah.
He had a couple blocks, he had a steal. Do you think when he gets rolling on offense that maybe increases his confidence on defense or makes him more willing to make those risky plays?
That's a good observation. He blocked 2 huge shots in this game. And we're just trying to find a way to help him grow in that. If you watch him block shots in the past, he turns his head and tries to block like this. And that's not the way to block shots, but it's a habit we're trying to break. So it's really something that he's grown every day in so many things. Hits the first 3 and then he walks the next time. It's another, I think he hit another 3 and then he takes a bad 3. He's just like learning this game one step at a time, and defense is part of that.
Mark?
Is he healthy?
Who's that?
Mo?
Yeah, I would assume that the doctors are seeing him right now. He was supposed to screen and get the heck out of there, and somehow he got hung up and got hit, but.
Was the head?
Yeah, I don't know what exactly, I saw him after, I said, "You all right?" He said, "Yes, but I think we'll go through some protocol now." But hopefully he's very, very healthy.
Thank you.